Hello children, today we are going to discuss about BOP and its components. So let's begin with what is BOP. BOP is a comprehensive and a systematic. It is very systematic. Record or a statement regarding what? Regarding the transactions between our country and rest of the world. Now when we discuss about transactions, this basically means receipts and payments. What is the meaning of payments? Payments means which a country gives to another country. That means when we consider payments, we consider it to be the debit side. Why the debit side? Because there is an outflow of foreign currency. When we consider receipts, we consider it to be the credit side. Why credit side? Because there is an inflow of foreign exchange. So in this total BOP chapter, because it is an account, balance of payment account, that's why the entire components are going to be discussed with respect to the credit part and the debit part. Whenever we see that there is an outflow, we consider it to be a debit. If we see that there is an inflow, that means it's coming in, we consider it to be a credit. Okay, so let's discuss about the components. BOP has two distinct parts. One is current account, another one is capital account. Individually, current account and capital account has their own components. But before even discussing about the components, let me tell you one particular thing. Current account is always considered for a particular year or in a financial year. That means it doesn't create any asset, doesn't create any financial liability. Okay? That means current account will be considered for the ongoing year or the financial year as per the statement. Alright? Now let's begin with the components of this individual accounts. Current account. The very first component of current account is trade of visible goods. What is the meaning of visible goods? Visible good means the commodities which are tangible. Trade means export and import. Suppose we consider country, our country, India. India exports visible commodities or tangible goods like groundnuts, then tea, coffee, jute products, while it imports crude oil, engineering goods. So if there is a trade, that means export and import of visible commodities, we call it trade of visible goods. So under visible goods, what do we get? Export of visible goods, which is our, because it is export, so there is an inflow, minus import of visible goods, which is our debit. Import means we are giving away the foreign currency, in exchange we are buying the visible commodities. So this is actually termed as balance of trade, that is BOT. Okay. The next one, trade of invisible goods. Invisible goods, as all of you know, is services. What are services? Insurance, banking, shipping, tourism. So if there is an outflow because of all these services, we put it in the debit side. And if there is an inflow because of all these services, we put it in the credit side. So balance of invisible goods or trade, whatever, export of invisible goods or services, you can write, minus import of invisible goods. So export falls under credit and import falls under debit. Alright. Now, under invisible goods, there is also one more thing that needs to be considered, that is, even though I am making it as a third point, but still, incomes. Incomes also come in two parts. Out of income, we get investment income and compensation of employees. Now, what is the meaning of investment income? Investment income are those income which basically comes because of investment. So what type of investments? Like you get or you earn profits. You earn dividend because of share which you have bought. Okay? You earn interest. So we can consider, for investment income, we can consider profits, interest, dividends, and for compensation of employee, wages and salaries. Now, how do we find a balance in this? For income, balance of income, what do we see? If income, receipts minus income, payments. So in this case, income receipts are the credit side because we are getting the income from outside, this is the inflow, and income payments means we are giving out, it is the outflow. And the last component will be unilateral transfers. Now the name itself is suggestive. Unilateral. Uni means one-sided. Single side. That means, for example, we can talk about gifts, donations. Okay. One-sided means somebody is donating something. In return, that person or that institute or that country doesn't get any sort of goods or services. So it is only one-sided payment which is done. So balance of unilateral transfers can be written as unilateral transfer receipts minus unilateral transfer payments. Okay, here also we can see that receipts are the credit side because there is an inflow, and payments are the debit side because there is an outflow. So when we talk about balance of current account, if we are talking about balance of current account, we will say that export of visible good minus import of visible good plus export of invisible good minus import of invisible good plus income receipts minus income payments plus unilateral transfer receipts minus unilateral transfer payments. Okay. Now in nature, this balance of current account, or you can say balance of BOP, is actually, it's never in balance. It's never equal to zero. It is either in negative. If BOP is negative, we consider it to be a deficit. If BOP is positive, we consider it to be a surplus. We are going to discuss this a bit later after we finish discussing off with capital account. So let's move on to the capital account. Okay. Capital account. Capital account also has its own components. The first one is foreign investment. It can be of two types, FDI and FPI. You people have already learnt about FDI and FPI last year. FDI means foreign direct investment and FPI means foreign portfolio investment. Portfolio means buying of shares of other companies, and foreign direct investment means when you are directly investing in any other company. So here under capital account there will be a balance only if the receipts is more than the payments. That will be a surplus. If receipt is equal to payment, it will be balanced, and if receipt is less than the payments, that will be a deficit. Let's see. So if the receipts minus payments, same as like the previous one we have seen, receipts fall under credit side and payments fall under debit side. Okay. So this is the first component. The second component, external borrowing or lending. Now look at this. This is very simple to understand. When we are lending out, that means we are giving out. There is an outflow of foreign exchange. Outflow means debit. Inflow means credit. Okay. The next component is buying and selling of assets. What are assets? It can be any firm. Firm means plant. It can be any land. It can be shares. It can be houses. So if a foreigner comes and invests in buying assets in our country, so foreigner is coming and giving us with foreign exchange, so we are getting it. So if there is a receipt of foreign exchange in this case, so it is a credit. And if we are going outside and buying some assets in other countries, it is a payment. So in that case, it is a debit. Okay. So this becomes our credit and this part becomes our debit. Okay. Now the next component. The next component is recovery of loans. Here also recovery of loans. If India has taken loan from outside other countries or say some international institutes, financial institutes like IMF, World Bank, WB. So when India is paying a part of the the loan, that means when the payment is done, it becomes a debit side. Whereas if India is getting back a part of the loan which she has loaned out, then it becomes an inflow. So it becomes a credit side. So in this case, same thing. Receipts minus payments. Same thing. Receipts will be the credit and payments will be the debit part. And the next one, change in stock of foreign exchange reserves. This is also very simple. Foreign exchange reserve stock in a country, it goes out if we are importing, that means if we are buying from outside, so it becomes debit. And if we are exporting, we are getting the foreign exchange, so in that case it becomes a credit. So all together forms our capital account. Okay. Now the thing is that in bookkeeping sense, balance of payments has to be always in equilibrium. That means the BOP which we have seen just now, so BOP will be balance of payments will be current account receipts minus current account payments plus capital account receipts minus capital account payments. This BOP in bookkeeping sense is never in balance. That means if it is equal to 0, we take it to be balanced. If this is less than 0, that means it is a negative. We have a deficit. And if this is greater than 0, we have a surplus. But as I have said, this needs to be balanced. That means it has to be brought into balance. How can that be done? It can be done by accommodating capital flows. The capital account which we have seen just now is divided into two parts, or we can consider them in two different categories. One is autonomous capital flows. Another one is accommodating capital flows. Autonomous means which happens in nature. There is no relevance of this. That means the ordinary capital flows, it will be there. Okay, this is not meant for adjustment of the surplus or deficit, but accommodating, this is basically done to adjust the surplus or deficit in BOP. If there is a deficit, in BOP, if there is a deficit in BOP, deficit means we have less amount of receipts than payments. So it has to be adjusted with a inflow of accommodating capital flows. So when we have a deficit in BOP, we basically bring in the inflow, like we can borrow from outside institutes or countries. If there is a surplus in BOP, there is an outflow of accommodating capital. Outflow means suppose we have surplus, so we can lend out to a country which is in need of a loan. So this is how the BOP or balance of payment is maintained in a country, and these are the components of BOP. We are going to continue with the rest of the chapter in the next class. Thank you, children.